just get the other one. Sorry, the other microphone's not working. Sir,
Hi, good morning. I'm Nestor Cortero. I'm from Manila Bulletin. Uh, I was, well, I'm not going to ask a question about the film, no? Since the filmmaker isn't here naman. I'm going to ask about the overall, the theme of the festival. I just want to note that we have gone, our world, we have gone so far, this far away in terms of modern technology and all of that, no? But what is the rationale behind going back in time and focusing on folklore for this festival? Why? What are you trying? What is the statement that you want? What is the message that you want to impart in this age of high technology?
Thank you, sir, for your question. So the Tingin festival has always been unique as a festival because we strive to be thematic every year. So we always have a running theme every year. And this year we chose cultural traditions, cultural practices, and these would be crystallized in the form of myths, legend, and folklore. We feel that these folk stories, these beliefs of indigenous peoples, a lot of us already don't believe in them. We don't see their value. We don't see their potency. In fact, we look down on indigenous peoples. We don't really consider their role anymore in society. But it's important to look back and remember that our culture, because culture is syncretic, no? Culture is dynamic, culture is assembled by many influences. It's always good to look back on our indigenous cultures and draw from the legends and myths and stories that we have. Because although now, because of modernity, they sound fantastical, a lot of us maybe do not believe in them anymore. For many of our indigenous peoples, these stories continue to be true and to be real. And in choosing this theme for the festival, we are looking at their value in terms not of the logos that I mentioned, which is really science-based belief, but to look at them in terms of what lessons they can provide for today and what paradigms they still offer our audiences. So common across, for example, in many cultures in Southeast Asia, you will always hear about people being transformed into animals because they behave badly. So when children listen to these stories, they are given guidance on how to act in society, but through a form that is not threatening. So folklore gives you that. So they are very, in that sense, pedagogical. So in other words, we feel that these legends, these myths, they still have an important role to play in modern life. And modern life cannot actually exist in the midst of these fantastical stories still. Maybe Professor Campos would like to add as well.
Thank you. Oh, gaya nga na nabanggit ko, so dialogue kami ni Maya, no? So I see the theme. It's like something slightly different, no? So maybe not to speak on behalf of Boren who made the film, but this is a perfect example of when we speak of modern technology, modernity, urbanization, that it's not equal. We're not all moving in the same direction of modernity in equal ways. So this is about a highly urbanizing place where the place of this person is not uncertain. No? He's displaced. Memory is displaced. parentage is displaced, di ba? May violence, and ganda nung tanong eh. In a time, your questions are is perfect, I think, in the selection of it, because in this time, why folklore and what is this time? And here we see a kind of circularity, the idea that, well, we make decisions maybe not folkloric based on actual folkloric knowledge, but they're there. We make decisions because we're Filipinos, and Filipinos believe in certain things even if we're not thinking of them. So ito is a good example. It may be a little oblique, but it's about that, being displaced in an urban setting, and your recourse is really something beyond today, right? Your magulang, your alaala, your the dragon or whatever, no. So I think it becomes really more important that we turn to those today. Lalo na kanya-kanya tayo, di ba? Parang walang common goal or common idea. It helps us create a kind of common vision, social vision. And what's beautiful about it, the social vision is not sa atin lang. Alam mo, mas malaki siya kasi hindi lang Pilipino naman yung may ganitong vision, kahit iba-iba tayo ng religion or language, di ba? Pero pare-pareho tayo ng vision na yun.
So, sugsugan ko na lang po yung mga ano. For this theme, I think, for my lens naman, I think we need to highlight the ASEAN as a region. Because if we see all other member states, that would be Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, and everything else. So, ASEAN member states actually dwell on the strength that our decisions are actually deeply rooted on our beliefs and heritage. So, napakaganda po ng folklore na theme natin for this year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have other questions? Yes. Anyone? Yes, it's very nice that they were able to put folklore into today's time. It's not everybody appreciates folklore like people like us. Yes.
Did you consider locally made films? Are there many films made locally dwelling on our folklore? Marami bang ganun?
So, actually, Sir Patrick had a difficult time looking for films that match the theme, no? Because it's a very specific theme, so it was really tough. But one of the Philippine selections is In My Mother's Skin by Kenneth Tagatan, and it does feature a folkloric story. So, in terms of the Philippine landscape, Sir Patrick would know more. There's not a lot actually, but we do have a lot of indigenous stories and a lot of films that are based on those themes. But I think there's a dearth of material really on legends, on myths, and it's a very rich wellspring, and I don't think we have really tapped into that. So maybe this is one of the ways in which we encourage also filmmakers to consider our heritage, our folklore, our legends, our myths as the basis for their creative output going forward, because it's not tackled enough. It's not being used enough. Sir Patrick?
My answer to that is from a programmer's perspective. No? So siguro, just to highlight a couple of things about the work of programming. One is, we don't want, the one is quite audience specific, which means audience centered, which means we don't want films that are all about the same thing. So even if I could find 10 films about legends, I will not put all 10 films about legends. But also from a non-audience centered but more curatorial, philosophical, intellectual side, putting them together actually, allows us to see the folkloric element without having to be very specific or maybe literal, not specific, but rather literal. So for example, in the case of this film that we watched, that may not be immediately apparent, but in the context of the theme this year and all the films put together. Kaya ang ganda nito, kaya pangarap ng lahat ng programmer ay yung mga nanonood, mapapanood niya lahat. Sana panoorin niyo lahat kasi that's how it works. That when you watch all 10 together, you guys, oo nga, no, they're not maybe immediately apparent na ganun siya, pero when you watch them all together and in the context of the theme, you'll see what we mean. No? So, kaya ang ganda rin itong example na to because this is a great example of it may not be immediately apparent what the Golden Dragon is and what it means to not remember something and just remember your father. But it is, in fact, folkloric. Especially, well, parang yun yung cheat na sinabi namin, di ba? Pero, but that's the curatorial context, di ba? That we said it and therefore this is how we decided on it. No? And so it is true that it was difficult at first, but I was telling Maya it was difficult at first, but in the end, I was very pleased with how it came together because mas maganda siya than yung madali. Yeah. So,
how did you source the film?
Okay. Ano ba? Okay. So it's a mix of ano, no. So I think the trio is important. So merong cultural arm, merong merong framework at merong network. So I think it's that, no. I know a good number of the filmmakers and producers, and then we have the framework by which to choose, and we have a cultural agency that helps us connect them, no. So it's a mix of all those, no? At yun din siguro yung uniqueness ng tingin is that you won't really find that kind of, so when you, and again, this is not to throw shade on any other Southeast Asian film festival, no? But other film festivals will focus on what is most critically acclaimed or popular from other places. But our interest is not in popularity or critical acclaim only, even if they're important, but rather the region, like imagining the region. And so we have to be able to decide and choose and select films from different places, regardless of popularity, acclaim, or whatever. The most important guiding decision is, ano ba yung Southeast Asia? Right? Paano ba natin ito mai-imagine? So,
over the years, we've also built a relationship na po with a lot of distributors and filmmakers in Southeast Asia. And if we look back no, on the programming since year one, you'll see that many of these directors were already invited before, and then they came back again. So as long as they fit with the team, they say yes. And they're really excited to be a part of Tingin because it's the only festival dedicated to Southeast Asia cinemas here in the Philippines.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Maya, Dr. Patrick. Any more question? Yeah.
Hi, Bron Laksamana from Business World. I just want to ask, medyo related. How do you see the difference of programming and selecting the films in the 7th year now compared to 7 years ago? So is there a change in the general landscape that has also changed the way you've selected the films?
I'll go first, so there's a bit of history. So actually, the first year, because that was to celebrate the anniversary of the ASEAN, it was actually the governments, the states who chose the films. Most of them delegated it to the cultural departments. So they nominated the film that they wanted to be shown, and then we talked to the distributors after that. Now we have from that we have gone completely the opposite way, which is we chose the films ourselves, and that's being led by Professor Campos in terms of the curation. And so I think he can now talk about the landscape in terms of the change and the process behind it.
Anyway, year one it was 50-50. One was state decided, the other was we decided them. Anyway, yeah. Kaya ang daming films ng year one actually. Tigda dalawa bawat isang lugar. Right. So, siguro, siguro, i-contextualize ko lang. And I really appreciate that the work that Maya and I have done in the last 7 years, of course, with the NCCA, si Annie, and then now Mariel, no? Is that yun nga, it's a dialogue because cultural diplomacy kasi yung goal, di ba? But ako, as programmer, that's not always my goal. My interest really is to be able to, my goal is more scholarly, I would say, and so it's not always just to show, you know, like in a cultural show, all the, di ba, yung costume and folk stories. I'm interested in also knowing our neighbors in their reality, right? So kung may malagim na nangyayari sa ibang lugar, halimbawa, some years back we had a film about genocide, and some years another year we had a film about desaparecidos in Indonesia, and those are important to me because I come from the Philippines where killing of many happens, where desaparecidos are may maraming desaparecidos. So to me, it's not just the cultural diplomatic angle, but the dialogue to me is perfect because, of course, the cultural diplomatic angle is important. We don't all want to be just desperate and angry all the time, but also to understand them contextually. So the changes really comes from also historical. So when something is happening sa 7 years, ang dami nang nangyari sa Pilipinas pa lang, imagine nyo, sa 7 years na yun. No? So yung year 1 natin, anyway, I won't go to the historical, but you can imagine how much has happened. Kung ilang beses tayo nagalit, nalungkot, umiyak, sumigaw, di ba, dito sa Pilipinas. At ganun din sa mga kapitbahay. So, while the film culture is changing, which we're also trying to reflect, the historical, political, economic realities are also happening. And so we wanted to reflect that all the time, no? And through a dialogue, no? So yung parang nag-agree kami na team best to represent both the festival tingin and also the countries that are represented in it. So yun siguro. And you sense it, I guess, kung ano yung nangyayari sa mga bansa. And I guess a little partiality to, syempre Filipino yung programmer. So medyo na ganun yung angle. Wala naman akong omniscient view. And so I think of it as like how a Filipino would appreciate and compare and commiserate and and feel for the others.
Good morning po. I'm from Radyo Filipino America. Kasi Tagalog din ako.
Okay lang. This is from Radyo Philippine, DMCS Media. Kasi uso po ngayon yung mag-online films. So, tanong ko lang po, since may red carpet tayo, does Tingin has online too? Kasi may mga na-invite ako, sabi niya, I just wanted to watch na lang yung, alam niyo na, yung letter N na So, I would like to know if Tingin has online too.
Very good question. Nung pandemic po, nag-migrate po kami online totally, obviously, ang Tingin. So for 2 years, we were online. And then last year, it was the first time that we tried Trimedia. So we had screenings here. Meron po kami online, Vimeo, through Vimeo. And then meron po for the short films, merong limited screening sa Solar channel, yung iFlix channel nila. So 3 media po ang ginamit. Pero when we looked at the results in terms of the patronage, lumabas actually yung physical screening yung preferred ng mga tao. So there was, I think that nostalgia for theater kasi ang tagal na wala. So merong ganon. So mas marami po ang nag-attend physically. Even though the films were available online, so dito pa rin po talaga sila. So we decided for this year to see kung paano po yung patronage. Kung talagang purely physical, will people come back to the theaters more? Because we really want to encourage the moviegoers to go back to the cinemas. Kasi as you know, the Philippine industry isn't doing so well. Pakonti ng pakonti po talaga ang nanonood. And we want to emphasize the communal aspect of movie-going. Kasi that is the singular power of cinema, no? the big screen and then all of us watching together, that kind of communal experience, we want that emphasized talaga in the festival. So let's see po the patronage how it is, but we would like it sana na people go back to watching movies physically.
Follow-up question.
Kaya po ako nag-hashtag online kasi that is for NCR. What about the regions, the Visayas, Mindanao area?
Tama po. Actually, meron nga po kaming mga audiences from other countries, Vietnam, Cambodia. They also want to watch Tingin. But these films kasi are geo-locked. Yung agreement namin with distributors, dito lang siya. Kasi mahal din po ang license. Pag umabot ka na ng like Netflix, no, Asia or whatever, ang mahal na po ng film. Talaga hindi na namin siya kakayanin. That's a good insight that you have. Maybe we can talk to NCCA later on how to bring this to the regions as well. Kasi naka 7 years naman po kami of practice, no? But yes, thank you for that feedback. We can consider it po talaga. Let's see how it goes this year.
Totoo yun, isip ko nga NCCA and bring it to the regions. Yeah, pero ano talaga siya, give and take din sa klase ng advantage and disadvantage, diba? So, tama po, nung nag-online kami, ang naging masaya akong resulta ay marami yung kilala sa Southeast Asia na nakapanood dahil dun sa mga live natin sa Facebook. And that's great that everyone everywhere else can watch. Pero sa kabilang banda, ang advantage na gaya ng sinasabi ni Maya sa communal viewing ay film festival po kasi, di ba? So festival is really like coming to the film, to the theater. And we all know what it means to watch on a small screen, di ba? That we're not really paying attention. Imagine niyo yung Golden Dragon na yan. Pag pinanood mo yan sa maliit na phone, parang, anyari. Sabi mo siguro, anyari. But I mean, being subjected here to this big screen just to enter his mind, di ba? Na ano yung pinagdadaanan is so different. So sana ganun pa din, na ideal pa din na sa sinehan. Ano. Yeah, but maybe some kind of compromise or parang mixed hybrid experience is still in the future possibility.
Shout out din sa NCCA. For more budget.
No, but ma'am, it was really a good recommendation, So, as what Miss Maya have said, we are already on our 7th year. So, we are hoping, of course, to improve, to evolve, na hindi lang dito sa Metro Manila yung nare-reach natin. And hopefully, maging ASEAN-wide din siya. But yes, thank you. Yun po yung talagang goal, hopefully. So, salamat po.
Okay, other questions?
This is kind of trivial. Will you not want to build a theme on the beauty of Southeast Asia in your next editions so that this part of the world will be projected not just as a site for poverty and sex and violence? Will you not want or consider a theme on the beauty of our region?
Definitely, pwede naman po siya. The theme changes from year to year. Actually po, we've, over the years, kasi ang mga sinasabi ng moviegoers, some of the films daw namin are too heavy, medyo serious. So last year actually, because of popular demand, the theme was romantic love. So Southeast Asia in love. So in other words, in terms of the programming, we're very flexible. It really depends on also the clamor of the public. But I think especially because it's part of NCCA's program, the festival is always trying to paint a composite picture of modern Southeast Asia. What does Southeast Asia look like now? And in many ways, unfortunately, it remains to be, a very difficult place for a lot of people. And a lot of people live amidst all these contradictions. Where, for example, in this film, you have big ticket projects, buildings, condominiums, commercial buildings. But you have a lot of people being left behind by development and progress. So it's a tricky balancing act that we're really trying to do here. Not, to subject audiences with to misery and all of that, but at the same time, because we do want to paint a true picture of what Southeast Asia is, then we cannot avoid really looking at these issues.
And just a quick addition na I think implicit naman po yung kagandahan I think ng Southeast Asia, no. Pero you mentioned your phrase po was to project it to the world, but ako in my mind it's really to project it to Filipinos, di ba? And I think when we see our neighbors in romanticized ways, we aren't able to imagine them as neighbors, di ba? Parang tourists. Kung the world, I think iba pa yun. So kung NCCA dadalhin niya to sa world, I think the programming decisions will also differ. But since I know Filipinos are the ones watching, iniisip din natin, ano yung mabibenefit ng Filipino na makita yung kapitbahay niya in this specific light, na hindi lang parang tourist place to go to, di ba? And I think that's, so yung not world, but rather Filipino, I think is special.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jay Mante of DCMSP Jablagan News Extreme. How do you entice the audience participation, like the youth?
So, Tingin has a partnership with schools. Over the years, for example, we organize talkbacks with directors after they watch the films. We have talkbacks with directors where the students could really ask questions directly. So that has been a very fruitful partnership. A lot of students attend our festivals. For this year, actually po, to plug na rin po, we have a theme contest. So those who come in folklore-inspired theme wear on opening night will get a prize. The best one anyway. So there's a 10,000 peso cash prize, tax-free. You can come as Tikbalang, Maria Makiling, or your gown, marami siyang mata, so parang si Maria Pina, the Legend of the Pineapple. So it doesn't have to be literal na Tikbalang po. Pwedeng inspired lang siya kasi baka mahal yung costume. But that is one of our enticements for this year. The young people love dressing up and love coming in costume. So that's one. Hopefully they can come here. And of course, this is free also to the public. And if you notice the selections, especially for this year, a lot of the films have not been shown in the Philippines. So this will be the first time, including the Philippine entry. It will be its first theatrical release because it's available online, but not yet theatrically. So hopefully that would be come-ons. If you look at the selection, very meticulous and very difficult to source as well.
They're not available here.
Yes po, they're not yet, the films.
So we'll see you August 17. Sana makilala namin kayo. Baka po nakatikbalang yung iba. Meron pa po. Other questions pa po.
Sorry, just very quickly po. I'm Bob from the Asians Network and on the Post. What is the future of ASEAN, film? I know that there are some countries, for example, Thailand, that the government is pushing for soft power. That includes, of course, Thai films. And so, do you see ASEAN films as a whole occupying a bigger space on, the global stage? Thank you.
Mag-sign up po kayo sa klase ko sa... Well, it's really a really difficult question. But I'll just say very tentatively, like nothing final. Dalawa. For sure, Southeast Asian cinema will be more visible. In part because of its own doing, but also in part because of the changing landscape of media access, collaboration, co-production. So, totoo naman po di ba, na actually ngayon, even as we speak, dami naman na talagang Southeast Asian films accessible globally. Of course, the other question that we should ask is, who's watching them, di ba? So, I mean, if you go to Netflix or Prime or Hulu or HBO, marami pero pinapanood ba natin, di ba? So, that's one. So, for sure, makikita natin. But, I guess, ang mas interesting para sa akin itanong ay paano tayo hinuhunt nung kasaysayan natin, kanya-kanya natin kasaysayan. Because in many ways, things that are happening in the Philippines, in Myanmar, in Thailand, in Indonesia, parehong-pareho, may mga repetition yung kasaysayan at paano nagre-respond yung mga filmmakers, artists, cultural workers dito. Yun yung feeling ko mahalagang tanong kasi I think visibility-wise, access-wise, it will be there. There's no question about it. No? But how people can speak up, how people can make films, what they can say, what they cannot say. Diba? Literal po yung Myanmar. Not so long ago, we showed some films from Myanmar sa UP. And many of them are not in Myanmar because for them to make films about what's happening in Myanmar means not to live in Myanmar, right? So in many ways, I think the question of the past coming back is a more important question. So yung sinabi niyo po na soft power, halimbawa, marami kasing hindi pwede masabi sa Thai cinema, halimbawa. No? So si Uro pong Raksasa, halimbawa, may mga film siya na hindi pwede ipalabas sa Thailand. No? So I think that is a more interesting question because whatever we might see globally, matatanong natin, does it really represent what's happening in their respective countries? Or what can they not show us in the world because they cannot show it openly? Or maybe what is rosy-colored, diba? Minsan, kala natin maganda lang yung nangyayari, samantalang hindi. So, yun, I think. So, the quick answer is, we'll see more, for sure. But, what does that mean? Is that, nicer question.
Just to add also, Tingin has always also been conceptualized as parang the people's response to the ASEAN as a political bloc. Because of course, there's a concerted effort, to develop one ASEAN economic community, so making the borders more porous between its peoples to attract labor and all of that to prepare the market for this kind of regional integration. And Tingin is one of those avenues that looks at this process from the perspective of the artists and the people. How are people being affected by this integration, and what sort of differences are perhaps being erased, or what sort of similarities are being harnessed so that we have a very smooth economic integration. So in our humble way, we are trying to really also trying to make sense of this change that occur at a structural level, at the level of political economy, and therefore how does this affect people at the grassroots. And when you watch all of these films together, you can really see that picture, because when it's just the Philippines, you don't know, and you feel maybe alone in your struggles. But if you see all of these communities and you see echoes of the struggles in each of the countries, they have a very familiar refrain. You know what they are, and so you're able now to make sense of this very large changes that are occurring at the community level. Thank you.
Therefore, ganda na to kasi parang nag-iisip kami out loud. Ito yung process. Kaya talagang props sa NCCA, because NCCA is of course a state agency, and the tendency of a state agency talaga is to clean up our to make everything palatable. Pero I think very important yung NCCA support in helping imagine from a cultural perspective na may honesty, di ba? May authenticity, and not insisting on a specific version, because pwede talaga mangyari yon kapag state yung nag-assert. So I think we have a very harmonious process where all these things are really considered properly honestly. So kung may totoong experience, pinag-uusapan talaga kung dapat ba siya ipalabas at paano.
So maybe we can have one last question, and everybody, you're invited to have lunch outside. One last question, or gutom na.
They're hungry na.
Okay, so thank you everyone for attending our press conference. Thank you, and we hope to see you August 17 with your costumes. Sige po. Everybody po, we can have lunch.